I'm Bob Canote, and if you're the kind of person that likes to spend their weekend detailing their car, you're going to love this episode of the Camp Chaos Chronicles. Dang it. Here's what we got to do. We got to find carpet that we can use to replicate what was in this car originally. And that's proving to be kind of difficult because this is the closest that I can find. And, you know, in Menards where I picked it up, it looked gray, but you put it next to original carpet and it looks blue, and it's going to look obvious that that doesn't belong in the car. So I spent a lot of time looking for the right color carpet. Other than the color, it really does kind of match up with the texture of it. It really looks pretty good, but that color just isn't going to fly. So I spent a lot of time looking for the right carpet, and if you guys have any ideas as where I could find that, leave that in the comments down below. I'm sure all of us who have trunks that need to be tidied up could use that information. What I finally decided to do is, out of frustration, see what I could do as far as cleaning this stuff up. And that's what it looks like right there. And I'm telling you that this stuff looks original. I'm really kind of amazed. The product that I used, gonna have to dig through the trash here. Initially, this is what I've been using in the past. Turtle Wax, Power Out, Carpet and Mat, heavy duty cleaner. Well, I ran out of this and my local auto parts store didn't have another can, but they did have OxyClean, odor blasters, interior foam, yada, yada, yada. This stuff, that was good, but this stuff is amazing. I mean, that looks as good as new carpet. I'm a real believer in that stuff. So look no further. OxyClean's the answer. And this is what some of this stuff looked like originally. Carpet out of the original carpet. This is the trunk drop. And, you know, all sorts of unsavory stuff falls in the trunk drops, like tools. You know, that's where this rusty patch comes from. Usually is ferrous metals falling in there and never being retrieved. But I mean, this, I can take this down without bringing the whole thing down. That's what we're looking at there. Amazing. It's not cheap. It's like 12 bucks a can, and it took 2 cans to do this, but I mean, look at that. That's awesome. So what we're going to do here is take this piece of carpet, which is the piece that hangs down in between the fuel tank and the spare tire, and see what we can do with this thing. Now you notice that we've got a lot of staining here. This, I believe, is probably from the from contact with the tire. We got this spot right here, something going on there, and other than that, it looks pretty good. There's some areas where there is some obvious wear here, but you know what? The major part of it up here is what's going to be visible. So let's just see what we can do with this. that's how it came out. I don't know if this shows up on the video particularly well, but remember that stain that was right through there, the tire stain? That's gone. There was sort of a rusty, oily stain up here, and I think there was something over there. And the fact is that all that stuff is gone, and there's just maybe a little bit of wear right here. But that is going to pass for new. What I'm thinking about doing is doing some experimenting with an iron on the back side of this, maybe to take the wrinkles out of it, because it is a fairly big piece that's not actually attached to anything. It velcros in place, to see if I can get it flatter than this. But this OxyClean is amazing stuff. It's going to be my go-to carpet product. Well, I took the iron to this. Important thing that I found out is that you don't want to use the iron directly on this. You can see down here that it's matted, very heavily matted. This stuff melts at an insanely low temperature. I tried it out down there because that's going to be well behind the tire. We won't be able to see it. But you can see that it is probably flatter than it was before. And I used the iron with a heavy-duty paper towel in between the iron and the carpet, and that seemed to work. The problem is that this stuff has been stretched out over the years to the point where I don't think it's ever going to look flat as new. But again, this part is behind the tire. This part right here is going to be behind the battery, and it's going to serve perfectly well in that capacity. Another example of how clean this stuff has gotten. This is the exterior wall on the left side, the carpet that is contact cemented to that wall. And to give you some idea of what it looked like before, this is a rust stain that was really, really bad. And I could get that out if I was actually going to spend some time on it. But the fact is that this is down in the trunk drop and nobody's ever going to see that. But you can see how awful this was to begin with. So what we're going to do here is we're going to stick this in. And what I've done at the top here is I've taken some strips of carpet tape, really super sticky carpet tape. It's made by a company called Florbond, and it is really aggressive adhesive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and cover it with contact cement, and then I will stick it up in place on the inside, just one side of the joint being coated with contact cement. It's tacky, but it's not going to stick down. What I'm going to do then is take maybe 6 inches at a time and work from top to bottom and stick this thing in. Let's see how it goes. The glue that I'm going to use here today is Weldwood contact cement. Any good contact cement is going to work. And the way this thing works is you take and you brush on a layer of contact cement with a brush on the back side of the foam or the carpet, and you wait a little while, I'd say 5 to 10 minutes, then brush another coat on, and then do the same thing to the other side. And then after about 15-20 minutes, you contact the two together and they're glued, and they're not coming apart without tearing stuff off. Maybe 20 years when their glue deteriorates a little bit, but not anytime soon. What I'm doing though is once I get the interior of the fender well coated with the cement, and I get this coated, I'm almost immediately going to stick the two together so that I have a bit of an option to move things around a little bit to make sure that I've got them situated properly. And I'll probably be just sticking down, starting at the top, about 6 inches down at a time to make sure that I got it where I want it. The key is that little square cutout right there. That's got to fall right on a structural part of the vehicle. Now, something that I've used with great success for a number of things is 3M Super 77. Great stuff. Not for this, because when it gets up about 65, 70 degrees, particularly with a black car, it's going to get hot, it's going to unbond, and this stuff's going to fall off. Don't use this. Although you do need a can of this around the shop for a lot of stuff, not this. This first before you do the frame rail, or actually this is the channel through which the muffler runs. You got to do that first, because otherwise what you're going to be doing is dragging contact cement over this. So from the time-lapse video you saw that I pretty much abandoned my 6-inch at a time plan, and the thing is that there was enough time, because of the fact that the glue wasn't exactly the way it should have been, in order to contact cement that carpet in, to strip it back and move it, and you can see that everything fits the way it should. Everything's stuck to the top up there. Looks like I need to get that corner there a little better, but that looks good. I'm pleased with that. I mean, that looks brand new. I'm real pleased with that. My next move is going to be to install this piece of carpet over the top of the muffler tunnel, if you want to call it that. And if you look at the bottom here, what I've done is taken some white paint pen and laid out the perimeter of where I want to be painting the contact cement on. So basically it's the same scenario, so let's make it happen, Captain. Now, a word about this foam here. Some cars have this, some cars the carpet is stuck right down to the steel itself. And I didn't like the look of that, because there are some features on the sheet metal that telegraph through the carpet. So I stripped that stuff off, with the intention of using it as a template to cut new foam. But the bottom line is, I got to thinking about it. You know what? That looks pretty darn good itself. So what I did is I stuck it back on again. Cost me 21 bucks for the new foam, but you know what? It just makes sense to do this. Because the other foam that I had was a lot stiffer, and it might have worked better, but this stuff is original. So that's what we're going to use. Well, we got that panel in, and it also looks great. And at this point then, we're going to go over here, do the same thing here. It's going to require the removal of the power antenna unit, and to make it easier, probably the battery tray and all that stuff around there as well. So once that's done, then it's a matter of putting the panel in back here. And that's, you know, that's pretty easy. Everything's pretty straightforward. But what we're going to do next is we're going to show you how I recovered these panels right here. Now, there's two problems with these panels. First of all, they're kind of dirty, although this one isn't bad. There's some staining there. But the ones for this car were particularly bad. So what I did is I pulled the fabric off of here, not knowing exactly how this backing is going to react to water. And if you look closely, you can see that there are staples all the way around the perimeter here. That's the only thing that's holding this on. There really is no contact cement to speak of, or to my knowledge, or none was evident when I pulled the panels apart. This is one that is extra. The other problem with these is that most of them have been warped pretty badly over time. Those two reasons caused me to want to remove the foam from the backing, and then I took the backing, sprayed it with a little water, not wanting to, waterlog these things and cause them to delaminate perhaps. And then I put them under a piece of plywood with several concrete blocks on top over a couple of days, and they flattened right out. Now these staples, these are just regular office type staples. They're exactly the same size. So if you've got a stapler that opens up like a knife so that you can staple directly down on this stuff, that's how I did it. And they came out really well.